YouTubers. I know it's been a long time since I've done an update. I apologize for that, but it's Saturday morning. I'm going to start working on the yard over here, intermodal yard slash regular yard. I've got 3 right-hand turnouts that are supposed to be arriving today, which is going to allow me to get my yard ladder. You know, it's going to be a short one in here. But my issue is that I need a left hand to start the yard ladder. So I've got a short piece of track that I'm going to put in here coming off of that turnout. And so I can go ahead and lay that, and then it'll be the spot at which the left-hand turnout will start. And then the yard ladder will come out this way. Down here at the very end, I have my small engine facility. It's going to be at the back end of the yard. I'm going to be able to, I think, have some pretty good storage here for cars. So anyway, that's kind of my plan for today. I have put this last piece of cork in here along the edge of the yard. I've done that. I actually did that last night, so it's glued down and it's dry. And then on the edge here, you can see between the fascia and the foam board, I've got a gap. So I'm going to use the Thomas McEwen method of grout as filler, and I'll probably get to that next week. I don't think I'm going to do it today, but maybe Tuesday or Thursday evening next week. But anyway, this is my plan for today. I'm not going to try and film this because it, you know, as I said, I've got limited time to work. So I would rather just tell you what I'm going to do, not record it, and then show you what I've done. So that's kind of the method I'm going to use today. Last night I was up here and I ran the hopper cars around. I just actually backed those back into the sidings there underneath the coal plant. Let's see what else. I don't know if there's anything else actually new since the last update. Obviously all the track is in, and I've run several trains. Had the grandsons over last week, and running a lot of trains. I've got everything fairly well cleaned up right now. I've got a couple of engines stored on these tracks over here at the lumber yard. Oh, a couple of other things. These this engine right here, 3156, which has DCC in it. It's an Athearn blue box. These 2 other locos here, the Burlington Northern and the EMD SD45 demonstrator, both of these are DCC. They are for sale, so if anybody's interested, send me a message. I'd like to get $40 each, plus about $10 shipping for those, since they've got DCC already in them. And I installed it, and it works. So then these last 2 over here are DC. You know, I guess I'd like to get 20 each, plus 10 shipping for those. Burlington Northern and a Rio Grande, both are DC. I do have the controllers for those, the DCC controllers, and the ones I've used are Digitrax, the DH123. That, you know, it's just a simple control of lights and direction. Nothing fancy there. At least that's all I've got them set for. They're not installed. They're in the package. So if you want those locos at $20 a piece, for another 15, I'll throw in the decoders, and you can install them yourself. Or for another 20, I'll install the decoder. So basically 40 for the DCs, and I'll put the decoder in, including shipping. And these others I like to get, you know, 40 plus 10 shipping. But you know, make me an offer if those are something you'd like, and let me know. So all right, so enough about that. I'm going to get to work on the yard here, and I will come back later and show you my progress. If anyone is interested, the way I lay my track down is I guess dry fit the track first, And here on coming off this turnout, it's just a little short section because I'm going to connect the left-hand turnout right here. But anyway, what I do is I dry fit my track, and then I take a marker and I outline along the edge. If you can see that, right there is the black line, and then right here at the end I've also got another black line. I'm going to have to put another brick on this, but anyway, that tells me I draw a line either side of the ties and also at the end, and that tells me where to put the glue. And I use full strength white glue. This is just white glue from the dollar store. I think you get three or four of these bottles for $1, and you know, it's Elmer's glue in another bottle, but it works really well. I use it full strength, and I lay the glue down just in the center of where the ties are, so equidistant between the two black lines. And I just take a putty knife and I spread the glue flat along the cork, and then weight it down with bricks. And there's enough adhesion there to hold the track down. You know, all of this is, you know, it's down with the white glue, and I mean, it doesn't move. And the reason I use the white glue is if I ever want to take it up, all I have to do is spray water on the track, and it will soften the glue, and you'll be able to lift it up. So it's just my method. I'm not saying it's the best, but that's what I do. So what we have here is a failure to communicate, but it's my favorite line from Cool Hand Luke. But anyway, we've got a turnout at this end of the yard, and obviously, you know, a turnout that's way down here under the bricks. And I need a left hand in here. This is an old Atlas turnout that I have, and I'm going to use it only for spacing. The Picos that I'm actually using right now in the layout have a little bit longer diverging track here. It comes, I don't know, maybe another inch and a half, but they are the same length on the straight section as the Picos. So I'm just going to set this in here, and I'm going to pin it down with some of my track pins, which are these T-pins, document pins, whatever you want to call them. It's the right length, so I'm just going to lay it in there so that I can run this long straight section of track down here. All the turnouts are going to be at this end of the yard, so I think if I just put all of the turnouts down there in the straight section, I'll be okay. And now, you know, that I'm saying this, you know, what I'm thinking of is, do I want to come off of here with another short section and then put another left hand, or I guess it could be a right hand, in here, you know, right on the curve, and then have the capability of going back here with a short straight stretch, and it might actually allow me to place the engine facility over here. So the good news is the right hand turnouts that I've ordered are actually out for delivery, and they're going to be here today. So I may just wait a little while until those arrive and go ahead and see what that looks like anyhow before I go ahead and glue this track in. At least I'll get an idea of what I can do with a right hand here. I'll have a curve, you know, actually putting it in so that the curve divergent part of the turnout fits in this area somewhere, and then the straight section will go back this way. And it might actually afford me a little bit better layout here for the engine facility. The only issue, well, I guess there wouldn't be an issue. The problem would be that, you know, if I've got cars sitting on this track, in order to get locomotives into and out of the engine facility, if it's down there, you know, I'm going to have to push them out. You know, here I go thinking on my feet again. The other option is to put it where I had it. Then I would have to clear this long siding the whole way down to get the engines in and out of the engine facility. You know, I think I like it better let me just try here, see what this looks like, because this would actually afford me. Let me apologize for this. Here I go designing on the fly again. Let me just take some of this stuff off of this piece of cork. I've got this flat section of cork which I was going to use under the engine facility. So just to sidelight, these sections of cork here, you can find them, or at least I found them, at Big Lots. They come in a package of 4. They are 12 by 12 by 1/4 inch, so they're exactly the same thickness as road beds. So they're nice, for big. Ouch! I just broke my bridge. Shoot. All right, sorry about that. Anyway, so these are nice, for big areas like this. So my thought is here, place the engine house here, and the more I talk about this, I think the better it's going to work, because it'll allow me to, put that turnout here, come back in. I'll have some area for storage of locos, as well as having one in the facility. I could even put another right-hand turnout back here and have another little short storage track. So, and also I could come this side of the engine house. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I apologize for all of this thinking while recording, but that's what I'm going to do. Now I have another project. I have to repair my bridge. So, I guess that's something to be said for being careful about what you're doing. But, alright, so I'm going to do that. I can at least go ahead and lay some straight track in here and see how the layout's going to look, how the placement of the track is going to look, and I'll come back and we'll take a look at that. The bridge is repaired. It was one of those rough breaks, which is a good one to have, because it provides a real jagged edge that you can put the piece that you've knocked out back in. So anyway, that's fixed. That only took like a minute. So okay, gonna lay the track down here and see what that looks like. Here's a representation of what the yard layout will look like. So if I come off of here with my turnouts, 3 as I had originally planned. Let me get down here at the edge. So I'll have 3 turnouts in there. 1, 2, and then 3. Then I'll have some fairly long sidings here. So I'll be able to fit 3 to the left of the engine house. Then put in another turnout right here. This is where the track is going to come off and into the intermodal yard here, with another turnout coming back this way into the engine house area. So I think what that affords me is some area to the right of the engine house for stuff. Engine house related stuff. There's a nice little area in there for that. Also, there'll be an area behind. You can see, obviously, or I'll have to cut this cork to fit in here. But there'll be a storage area behind, plus room for 3 sidings. And then that leaves me this area here, over here at the corner. A thought that I had originally was down here at this end. You can see there's a lot of space down here. Here. Okay, let me just finish this thought. So this is where my check-in, check-out station is going to be for the intermodal yard. It's just small. It's actually this building here and this little gate. So pretty small. But I was going to sit that down here, and then at the corner of the layout, right here, come across with a road and a bridge to intersect this street here, just to make it look like you can get into the yard from somewhere and get out from the yard somewhere. So that's, I can do that down here. If I take out this last siding here closest to the edge, originally I had thought of putting an automobile bridge across here as well. Obviously it wouldn't have to be as secure as the one there is with the screws and all. It could just sit in there, and then there would be access to this little farm implement company over here, because right now it's kind of isolated. You know, obviously I can make it look like there's a road coming across the tracks and going off into the horizon there. But I guess that's something I could do later on as far as the road. The issue would be if I put this last siding, I don't know. Sorry. If I put the last siding in here, I may not have room. You know, it'd be nice to have a roadway coming down here as well to kind of access the intermodal yard. So the plan here is with the yard itself. These two tracks that you see, I'll have a MyJack crane which straddles these two. It's one of those ones on wheels, you know. So, and eventually I'll pave the yard so that it looks like it's concrete in there. And then have I'm sorry about the shakiness here, I'm using my cell phone. You know, have the yard in there. And then one thing I don't have though is I don't have much room for storage of containers. You know, if I take this last siding out of here, I'll have room for storage of containers, and that's probably a good 4 inches anyway in here. So I could have one, if not two, rows of containers sitting back here. Down in this area, once the check-in, check-out station is in place, I'll have room to park some trailers, you know, that are already on the chassis. So anyway, that's my thoughts. Again, sorry for thinking on the fly here, but that's kind of how I work. I don't know. We'll tell by the time I get to the end of this video what my decision has been. There may be room for input from you guys if I decide not to glue any of this down. But I'm thinking right now it's going to be, you know, the two intermodal tracks here, and then maybe 2 storage tracks. That's not a lot. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling. I apologize for that. So I'm going to sign off now and at least put something down. Ask, are you going to put the turnout in there if you've already got the track in with the rail joiners and all? So what I've done, if you can see this end of the track under the brick here, I've got plenty of room to slide rail joiners the whole way back under those rails so they don't protrude from the end. And I've removed enough ties here to do the same. So I'll be able to slide 2 rail joiners on each end under that track and have it out of the way. So I can drop the Pico switch in, slide the rail joiners on, I'll be good to go. So I've got my outline drawn. I'm going to go ahead and spread some glue and glue right down the center. And I'm just going to take my putty knife now, and hopefully I can do this without screwing it up. Okay. So I just lay the knife on there and I drag it back. Just letting the weight of the knife spread the glue. So you can see it does a pretty good job just by the weight of the knife. You know, I don't have to put much pressure on it. And then I draw a line here down at the end so I know where to stop. Then I come back and drag it the other way. And I don't know if it's showing up very well in the video here, but it looks like all the glue is on one side, but it's really not. There's actually a seam in the roadbed there, so it's following along the seam. So what I'm going to do now is pin the track down and put the bricks on. I'll show you. There it is, with the pins in it, and the yardstick is still in place. So I'm going to pull the yardstick away. And one thing you want to be sure to do is pull the yardstick away. Don't let it glue to the side of your track. I guess it would make a nice loading dock, but anyway, looks pretty good to me. So as I've been filming or recording here, the mailman has arrived. So I'm going to go out and make sure my turnouts are there. Too exciting, but bricks are in place. So the turnouts have arrived. And I've got the short radius turnouts here for in the yard. I guess these would be a number 4. in railroad speak. But I think what I'm going to do is place, let me get these two out of the way, place this first one about right here. There's the end of the track that I just laid. So I'm going to put it here, and then you know, I'll have a pretty good shot at hooking up as I move this along here to that turnout there. So that's going to be the next step, is to go ahead and get this little short piece of track in here and this little short piece of track in here, so I can go ahead and anchor this down. As I'm looking at this, it needs to be over about right there. So that'll give me a nice straight shot back to the engine house. So anyway, that's where we're going to go now. I'm going to lay this area here, and we'll come back. Okay, so this method of gluing is going to be a little different, just because of the nature of how I have to install the track. You can see I've got the one right hand turnout in place, and I've got my short piece of track joining the other right hand to this right hand. So this is kind of a real close fit here, and I've got it pinned in place so that I have a nice gradual transition. And I've already run a locomotive here, so let me just show you as it comes across the turnouts. So I've got some dirty track there. But anyway, it comes across there. Let me just smooth this along, you know, really nicely. And I don't want too sharp of a curve in there, because, you know, I'm going to be pulling or pushing intermotor well cars across that. So, you know, it's got to be fairly gentle. But it looks like everything's going to line up here really well. I've got this little short piece of track that I have to cut and fit in here. But so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then so I've got this track placed in here now, and I've got a couple of my center beam flat cars, which are really temperamental. So I'm going to run them over this track here to see how they do. And this is live, so who knows what will happen. Obviously by live I mean first time I've done this. Alright, so I think we're good. Try backing her out here. Alright, so that looks good. I'm happy with that. Obviously none of my intermodal cars are that long. So I think we're good. So the way I'm going to do this now, I've got all this track pinned exactly where I want it, and I don't put any glue underneath the turnouts at all. I just they're held in place by the rest of the track, which is sitting there. So what I'll do here, I don't want to remove the pins because it's placed exactly where I want it. So I'll just take the glue and I'll run it across the ties to the turnout, and then back across here. And I'll just take my finger and press the glue off the top of the ties. But before I glue that down, I want to run the straight piece off of this turnout here, which is going to go back to the engine house. So I'm going to put that in place and pin it down as well. I have, I think, enough bricks to probably go ahead and lay that back in there, and then this track over here has been drying for an hour or so, so it's probably ready to go. So I'm going to put this in place and pin it down and glue it, and then get everything in. To comment on this little black thing that you see here is the stopper that comes in the top of the glue bottle. Before you use it, obviously you have to remove the stopper, but it makes a really nice roof detail for buildings. You can paint those silver or leave them black, or make them look rusty. And it's about the same diameter as the blower fan housing. A little bit bigger than that, just to give you an idea of the size. But anyway, it makes a really nice roof detail. I've got, I don't know, maybe 10 of those that I've collected so far. But alright, enough about that. So I think this is going to be about it for the day. I've got my piece of cork glued down back here, which is going to go under the engine house, and I've trimmed the edge. And I've also got another piece of road bed which is sitting back in here right now. I'll put some weight on that. And that goes down just along and finishes up right here at the edge of that turnout. So obviously all of this will be covered with ground cover of some type. Here's the piece where I had to put the glue down and then just rub my finger across the top of the ties to push the glue down inside, in between the ties. And once that dries, it'll be in there solidly. I've done that before. And also on this little short piece, done the same thing. Back here where the gap is in the rail is where my Pico left-hand turnout that I don't have yet will fit. I've got room in there for that to slide in, and I've cut enough of the ties back that I can slide a rail joiner completely onto the end of the rail. Just slide the turnout in there and then push the rail joiners back onto the rails for the turnout. I've got the as I said, the other two right-hand turnouts now, so it'll give me at least a little bit better idea of how this is going to look. Just as far as how the yard ladder is going to look here. I keep saying ladder. I hope that's the technical term. So I think those are close enough. Now that I see it in here, I can actually back this up a bit, this one, and still allow room for the MyJack crane to fit in there. And get three sidings in here, plus allow room for a road. So I think that's going to work out really well. I'm pleased with that. So anyway, I'm going to sign off for today. Go ahead and get this uploaded, and you guys let me know what you think. Appreciate all the comments, subscriptions, and again I apologize for it being so long between updates. I've been out of town on business, and work will interfere with the hobby, but without the work there is no hobby. Anyway, talk to you soon.